Welcome. My name is Susan Odell, Managing Partner at RAPA. Thank you for investing time today to learn more about IT asset management, going beyond inventory. Our videos and webinars are based on years of hands-on experience with customers of every size and complexity. They are intended to provide business and technical content that can be applied to your ITAM efforts immediately. This video in particular will focus on ITAM's management of financial, contractual, and inventory data. Inventory data alone is not ITAM. Before I turn it over to Pierre, I'll take a minute to tell you a little bit about RAPA. RAPA is an enterprise consulting services company. We are dedicated to customer advocacy in IT asset management. We have deep business process and technical expertise gained through the delivery of many ITAM projects of varying size and complexity around the world. RAPA is exclusively focused on services. We do not resell software, nor do we receive financial incentives for recommending technology. We work with your preferred Microsoft vendors in their areas of expertise to ensure your ITAM goals are understood and delivered. RAPA is all about you and helping your organization realize results in IT asset management. So let me turn it over to Pierre now to dive into IT asset management, going beyond inventory.
Thanks, Susan. Hi, everyone. I'm Pierre Paquette, a managing partner at RAPA. As we have seen in previous videos, the 5 fundamental ITAM success factors are people, process, technology, organizational commitment, and data. These success factors are incorporated into RAPA's maturity model and will help you determine how your organization measures up to industry best practice. People tend to think of IT asset management as being only about data and keeping track of a list of assets, but it goes beyond the hardware inventory. Data plays a crucial role in ITAM, but without a trusted source and the ability to keep it accurate, its value is questionable. The data provided by manual inventory or automated discovery is okay, but has its limitations. Answer this: if you find it, how do you know you own it? If you can't find it, how do you manage it? The real question is, are you managing or tracking your assets? Because ITAM's responsibility is to join financial, contractual, and inventory functions to support lifecycle management, it is essential that the data you rely on should be trusted, consistent, and comprehensive. So at what point in the asset lifecycle do you know that you own it? When you buy it, of course. In the following slide, we will look closer at what information will enable you to manage your IT assets throughout their lifecycle. And in a future video, we will look into the hardware asset lifecycle and how assets transition from request to disposal. The hardware asset information can be divided into 5 different categories: identification, physical characteristics, financial information, assignment, and related contracts. You need to be able to uniquely identify your assets, and thus a unique identifier is required. The serial number can be used for this since it rarely changes throughout the life of the asset. If the serial number is too cumbersome to use, you can use an assigned asset tag, which is affixed to the asset on receipt. You can even use the asset name assigned when configuring the asset. However, asset names may change during the life of the asset. The type of asset will help dictate what will be used to uniquely identify them. Physical characteristics such as type, model, and make will also help to identify the asset, but are mainly used to help manage classes of assets, such as all desktops, a specific model of laptop. Additionally, a list of asset models deployed by your organization will help understand what is required to support them. With ITAM being financially based, it's important to capture financial information at the opportune time, knowing when it was acquired in the form of a receive date, how it was purchased, information found on the purchase order, and from whom the asset was acquired, the supplier or vendor, gives you the information needed to properly manage the asset. Keeping track of who the asset is assigned to, where it can be located, and which cost center is responsible for it is equally important. Remember that the information you capture is always looked at from an ITAM perspective. And lastly, knowing what contracts are associated to the asset, such as lease, warranty, maintenance and support, completes the information that will enable you to manage your IT hardware assets throughout their lifecycle. Because people tend to gravitate to discovered data as the basis of their ITAM inventory, it's worth spending a bit of time to identify the difference between managed and discovered assets. Don't get me wrong, the discovered data has its value and may provide some insight into what your IT asset inventory consists of. In a previous slide, we raised the question that if you can't find it, how do you manage it? Not all types of hardware assets are discoverable, and those that can be discovered may not be reachable. This limits the number of assets that can be identified, managed, reported against, and used by other stakeholders. Also consider this. If the asset is discoverable, the discovered information can tell you who is using it, but is it who should be using it? Similarly, it can tell you where it is, but not where it should be. On the other hand, all IT assets are procured one way or another. Capturing inventory information during a well-defined and followed procurement and deployment process will result in a complete inventory. This inventory of managed assets will be the basis of your ITAM practice. So where does this leave us? Remember to consider the 5 fundamental ITAM success factors when evaluating your ITAM practice. Data plays a crucial role in ITAM, but it goes beyond the hardware inventory. Remember to gather all the information you need to successfully manage your assets. We would love to hear from you. Feedback on this session would be great, as well as ideas for content you would like us to cover in future videos. And more specifically to your organization, how can RAPA help? We would like to schedule time with you one-on-one to understand where you are and what your ITAM goals are, and how we can help you realize those goals. I also encourage you to share the link to our videos with your colleagues. You can also find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. My name is Pierre Paquette, and thanks again for investing time with us today.